All right, today we're talking about a true Dayton, Ohio legend. This is a story about a guy whose talent was just stratospheric, but his fall was just as deep and just as tragic. But you know what? It's also a story about a community that absolutely refused to let him just fade away. We're talking about Dwight the Blur Anderson. Now, when you hear a quote like that, you're probably thinking, what? Madison Square Garden? The Staples Center? Nope, not even close. This was back in 2010, on some cracked-up asphalt court in West Dayton. Get this, the hoop didn't even have a rim. It was freezing cold, and the basketball was so flat you couldn't even dribble it. And still, someone called the performance unbelievable. Wild, right? So, the guy putting on this incredible show, that was a 49-year-old Dwight Anderson. And if you rewind the clock about 3 decades, this was the #1 college prospect in the entire country. So the big question is, how in the world did he go from the top of the mountain to a forgotten court with a flat basketball? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into. Okay, to really get who that man on the court was, we gotta go back, way back. Back to a time when he wasn't some ghost hiding in the alleys of his own city, but an absolute phenomenon. We're talking about the making of a legend in Dayton, Ohio. I mean, just look at these numbers from his high school days. They are absolutely insane. As just a sophomore, he leads his team to a state title. Then, as a senior, he averages a triple-double. And listen to this, 38 points, 14 rebounds, and 11 assists. Oh, and by the way, this was before the three-point line even existed. His games were such a huge deal, they literally had to move them to the University of Dayton's big arena just so everyone could get a seat. There was no question about it. He was the #1 prospect in the whole country. And listen, this wasn't just some local hype, okay? We're talking about Isaiah Thomas. Yeah, that Isaiah Thomas, one of the greatest point guards of all time, saying this. He remembers being at this big-time camp with all these other future NBA superstars like Dominique Wilkins and Ralph Sampson. And who was the guy who just dominated everyone? Who won every single award? Dwight Anderson. Isaiah's words, he was the Michael Jordan of our era. That says it all, doesn't it? And that's exactly how he got the nickname The Blur. Everyone, coaches, other players, they all said it was like watching a sprinter with a basketball. His first step was just lightning. He could blow by absolutely anybody on his way to the hoop. He was just pure electricity on the court. So he goes off to college, and his career there was basically one long highlight reel. But you could already see some cracks starting to form. He gets to Kentucky, and he's an immediate star. But he clashes with the coach, so he transfers to USC. And what does he do there? Oh, just becomes their leading scorer and sets a school record that lasts for years. He even made this legendary spinning behind the backboard shot that his old coach called the greatest shot ever made. I mean, the talent was just, it was undeniable. So you have to be asking, what happened, right? How does a player with that much raw talent, that much promise, just have it all fall apart? Well, this is the part of the story where the dream gets derailed. Okay, look at this number. Just let it sink in for a minute. 5. That's it. After being called the next Michael Jordan, after all that hype, all that unbelievable once-in-a-generation talent, Dwight the Blur Anderson played a grand total of 5 regular season games in the NBA. Just 5. See, by the time he even got drafted, the rumors were already out there. Whispers about drug use, about a lifestyle that was just way too extravagant. The team that drafted him cut him before the season even kicked off. And that started this long, really painful journey through the minor leagues. He was bouncing around the Continental Basketball Association, going from tryout to tryout, and you could just see that incredible potential slowly, tragically just slipping away. When that pro dream finally died, Dwight said he was just left with this huge void inside him. Nothing, he said, could replace the high he got from playing ball. So he fell, and he fell hard, deep into an addiction to crack cocaine and alcohol. He said he became a ghost in his own city, walking through alleys just so he wouldn't have to see the look on people's faces. He sold his trophies for cash. He slept in abandoned warehouses. He later called it a long side towards suicide. It's just a completely heartbreaking fall. But here's the thing, this story does not end there. It's not just a tragedy, because the very same community that cheered him on during his rise, they were not going to just let him disappear. This is where this incredible group, this fraternity of Dayton athletes, decided to step up. There was this organization called the Varsity Club, started by former players like Eric Bradley, and they had a really clear mission. They were tired of all the bad press and forgotten stories. They wanted to preserve Dayton's amazing sports history, honor the legends from the past, and help fund the future. And they knew that a story like Dwight's, the good, the bad, all of it, was a crucial part of that history that needed to be remembered, not erased. And then, in 2010, you get the turning point. A guy named Cliff Pierce, who used to be his rival back in high school, went out looking for him. And he found Dwight. He was living in a garage with no heat, literally just surviving on bread. And that one simple act of friendship, that's what sparked everything. It was the beginning of Dwight reconnecting with the very community that had chanted his name all those years ago. And that reconnection, that's what started the final chapter of his life. And this chapter wasn't going to be about what he'd lost. No, it was about what he could get back. His dignity, his health, and his legacy. So that road back started in 2010 when Cliff Pierce found him. From there, the whole Dayton basketball community rallied around him. They helped him get into the John Lucas Treatment Center in Houston to get clean. And then the journey really came full circle in 2019. He was up on a stage at a varsity club event, being honored, and he spoke so honestly about his whole life. When he passed away in 2020 at the age of 61, he was sober and he had a job. He had truly reclaimed his life. And, his own words really say it best. He said, "It was a great feeling to get an accolade when you're older and don't expect it anymore. Most of all, I felt a lot of love from all of them that night." After decades of feeling like a ghost, to feel that love again, it meant everything. It was that full circle moment, right? A recognition not just of the amazing player he once was, but of the man who had survived it all. So when you look at the whole story of Dwight the Blur Anderson, it really leaves you with a big question. It's this incredible mix of unbelievable talent, a devastating fall into addiction, and in the end, this powerful story of community love. And it kind of makes you ask, right? What is our responsibility to our heroes, especially when they fall? Dwight Anderson's life seems to suggest that final shot, the one for redemption, is a shot that we're all meant to take together.